Hi, welcome back. I know I'm terrible about actually doing these, and I feel awful that it's been, again, like another 2 weeks. I have been reading, and I was a little bit slow, and I went away for a while, and so I have been reading, and I have 3 books this week. The first book I don't have with me. It's called Empress of the World by Sara Ryan. And it's about this girl who goes to a summer program, I think at a university. It's like she's in high school and she's going to get experience. And while she's at this program, she makes some new friends and she falls in love with another young woman who is there who is, I don't remember her name. I don't remember what the other girl's name is. But she falls in love with her and they have a relationship for a little while, and then things seem to fall apart and there's awkwardness, and it was an interesting book. It's probably not a book that I'll read again just because there was too much angst and not enough payoff at the end to justify the angst, in my opinion. It wasn't a bad book. It was a rather interesting book, but it seems to me that, like, a lot of books about gay and lesbian teens exploring who they are and getting into new relationships don't seem to end well. They always seem to kind of fizzle out, and then you're like, okay, did they not get happiness? Because, you know, that kind of sucks. She was happy in the end. She came out of it fine, but I was just kind of going, huh. If you know of a book where there's an actual, like, payoff in the end, I would love to hear about it, because I love those books. So it's Empress of the World by Sara Ryan. The second book I have is also not one I have in my hands. It's called The Warrior Heir. It's by Cinda Williams Chima, C-H-I-M. I-M-A. Sorry. I have no idea how to pronounce her last name. Absolutely none. But it's about this this world. Well, it's our world, but it's also, there's like a secret world inside of it. It's like Harry Potter. It's actually, the book is like Harry Potter 7 meets the Hunger Games. It's really, really fun. And my sister's boyfriend, Austin, really recommended it to me, and he's like, you have to read this book. And I am so glad that I did, because it was so awesome. But anyway, so in this book there are 5 guilds. There's like wizard, enchanter, sorcerer, warrior, and there's another one. I don't remember what the other one is. The 2 that are the most important for this book are wizard and warrior. And the wizards are they kind of suck. They've, like, made themselves above the other guilds, and they've made it the way that it was done. The other guilds can't really contest it. And to settle wizard arguments and to decide which house of the wizards, the White Rose or the Red Rose, which follows the War of the Roses. Yes, it's really cool. The White Rose or Red Rose sect of the wizarding community, which house has the power, they have this thing called the game. And what they do is each house puts up its own warrior, and they fight till the death. And whichever warrior isn't dead is the house that wins! Yay! And the warriors get nothing from this. They're pretty much like, hey, you're awesome, you won. That's great, go back in your cage. Because, you know, they treat them like they're not really people. And there's the main character is this kid Jack, who had a warrior stone. He was, you inherit the guild, you inherit the traits through your bloodline, and each of the guilds you have like an heir, and he was supposed to be a wizard heir, but something went wrong. He didn't have the stone that denotes that you're part of the guilds in his chest, and so a surgery was done, and instead of getting a wizard stone, a warrior stone was implanted in him. And so he's a warrior now. Oh goody! And it follows him as he tries to escape these people who are trying to kill him, or trying to get him to be their warrior, or it's insane, and it's awesome, and it is so cool, and it has a lot of humor, and it's a great book. It was a really, really fantastic book, and I highly, highly recommend it. So, The Warrior Heir by Cinda Williams Chima. And the last book is Subway Girl by JP Converse. This is a book that is set in Hong Kong, and there's the main character, well, it's kind of shared main charactering. The main male character is a boy named Simon, who sucks at English. He's failing all of his English classes, and he's like, I don't understand why you would ever need English. This sucks. He hates speaking it. And then he meets this girl on the subway, Amy. And Amy is Chinese American, but she moved here from San Francisco. She doesn't understand Chinese at all. She hasn't been practicing Chinese. And so to speak to her, he really wants to speak to her, but to speak to her, he has to use English. And it's really, it was a sweet book, and Amy has crap going on in her life, and they become friends, and it ends well. I love books that end well, and it's kind of a bittersweet ending, but it's got hope, and it was a good book to read. Amy, some of the stuff that happens to Amy, because if you don't play it right, you start feeling like, ugh, this girl sucks. This is all her fault. And it was played well. And I love how the author used that kind of break in being able to speak English, because our language is complicated, and she even goes into it. JP Converse, I believe, is a man, and he goes into it. Amy is trying to teach Simon English, trying to help him with his English, and she's trying to understand why English works the way it does, and why it's not I learned knowledge instead of I gained knowledge. And she's like, you can learn knowledge. Why does this not make sense? And our language is an odd language, and it makes no sense. And I feel so sorry for people who have to try and learn English, because it is probably the most complicated language in the world. Because none of our rules make sense. So, Subway Girl, JP Converse, good book as well. And those are the 3 books that I have right now. I have Ghost Story by Jim Butcher. It's the 13th in the Dresden Files, but I don't know when I'm going to get it done, because I am also doing Camp NaNoWriMo, so I am trying frantically to write 50,000 words this month, and I'm at about 11. Nowhere near where I need to be. So, I will try and have more books next week, and I hope that you will enjoy them. I will be back, and happy reading.